I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do.
First of all, are you starting to understand why the Indiana felines are so popular? Remove Caitlin Clark for a second from the equation. Are you starting to understand why your wife, your girlfriend, could relate to some of the Indiana felines? Do you understand why single dudes would pay to see them in person? For years, WNBA players have shared a close resemblance to Bob Griner, which is great. That's great. If you're marketing the league to Leslie, Lesbian, and Trandan, but the WNBA wants to market to the masses. The diva of Dump Divas, Kat Engelbert, she is trying to find a way to monetize this turd. The formula is simple. This is not hard to figure out. There is a reason that the most popular issue of Sports Illustrated is the swimsuit issue. There's a reason lonely men spend their entire welfare check on OnlyFans. If the diva of Dump Divas wants to monetize what was previously considered to be unmonetizable, you need to promote players like Sophie Cunningham and get Bob Griner off my TV. The purpose of that clip, it's to show the growing frustration amongst the Indiana felines, the growing frustration amongst fans of Caitlin Clark, which, according to my unscientific calculations, Caitlin Clark fans make up over 90% of the WNBA audience. I cannot fathom why this is so difficult for Kat Engelbert to understand. You have to protect your star. This is non-negotiable. This is not up for debate. If you're Kat Engelbert, you have got to protect your star player. You have to protect the only player that is capable of generating interest in a league that is otherwise mostly unwatchable. And look, this concept is not specific to the WNBA dump. Leagues have been protecting their star players for decades. Hell, businesses protect their assets, their stars. They receive preferential treatment. The top wiener slinger at 5-Star Franks is treated differently than the rookie slinging mini wiener. The top producer at your company, he can come in late. Maybe he leaves early on Friday afternoon, while the average employee is expected to be in at 8 o'clock in the morning and better not get caught leaving at 4:59. I used this example the other day. Roger Goodell, he changed the rules in the NFL to protect franchise quarterbacks. 2007, maybe it was 2008. Tom Brady, he was injured week 1 of the regular season. He was out the rest of the year. Following season, NFL implements rule changes. You could no longer hit quarterbacks at the knees. You could no longer hit quarterbacks in the head. Hell, basically, you could no longer hit quarterbacks. Whether you agree or disagree with the rule changes, it doesn't matter. From a business perspective, the NFL had to protect their most valuable assets. The NBA did the same thing in the early 90s. David Stern recognized that Michael Jordan was the face of the league. He knew that for the betterment of the NBA, Michael Jordan needed to win championships. He needed to be protected. After 2 years of getting his ass kicked by the Pistons, literally, David Stern implemented some changes. Hand-checking rules were re-examined. NBA officials were told to crack down on the physicality. 1991, flagrant fouls were introduced. Players were fined. They were penalized for levels of physicality that were previously allowed. But KC, that's not fair. Leagues shouldn't make it easier for star players to win. This is about fair competition. No, this is about entertaining the audience. This is about putting your star players in the best position to succeed. You know, the players people are actually paying to watch. Outside of Detroit, no one was buying tickets to see Bill Laimbeer act like an asshole. No one was buying tickets to see Stevie Kerr average 3 points a game. In the WNBA, There is not a single fan buying tickets to see Marina Mabrey. Maria. So, why in the hell does the WNBA continue to refuse to protect their cash cow? Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Quick programming update. There will probably only be one video tomorrow. We're heading home in the morning very, very early. Contractor, he finished up with the house a day early, so we decided to go on home. I really like it here in Nashville. I've enjoyed it here the past 2 weeks, but I am ready to get back to my studio. Me and my wife, we are used to having our own space throughout the day. Me specifically, I'm used to having a studio to myself where it's quiet, peaceful. This guest house that we have been staying in, very nice, but starting to get a bit claustrophobic. Fortunately, me and the wife, we get along very well, so it doesn't devolve into fights, but Uncle KC is ready to get back to his studio. So if there's only one video tomorrow, that is the reason why. Over the last 3 or 4 games, Caitlin Clark has been struggling. She looked great in her return game a couple of weeks ago against the New York Equality, formerly known as the New York Lesbians. And by the way, what the hell is wrong with New Yorkers? Why are you electing that socialist doofus to be your mayor? I love New York City, one of my favorite cities in the country, but you guys deserve what you get. Anyway, Caitlin Clark, struggling. If you look at her stat line, it's similar to what we are used to seeing from Angel Reese. Inefficient from the field, she's missing wide open shots. Caitlin Clark has attempted 23 threes in the last 3 games. She's made 1. Ironically enough, ESPN did not celebrate that one made 3 like they did for Angel Reese. The pretend Barbie, she made a 3 the other night and ESPN organized a butt bongo celebration. Did you see that? Angel Reese not only made an open shot, she made a 3. This Barbie is amazing. Simply put, Caitlin Clark has been dreadful. Now, she hasn't been as dreadful as the Chicago Bravado, but we have actual expectations for Caitlin Clark. According to her fan base, there is a reason Caitlin Clark is struggling. She's being manhandled. Opponents are introducing Caitlin Clark's eye to their finger. Teams are allowed to be overly physical, and they're not being called for fouls. Now, normally, I'm not one to blame a streak of poor performances on officiating, but Caitlin Clark fans have a point. I'll show you a couple of examples. In one of these clips, a player from the Seattle Spankers is literally holding her hand as she drives the lane. Hey, Caitlin, can we pretend we're on a romantic walk on the beach holding each other's arms? Is the lack of officiating the only reason Caitlin Clark is struggling? No. You can't blame WNBA officials when you're 1 of 23 from 3. But Caitlin Clark fans have a point. The increased physicality that's being allowed is throwing her off. It's gotten so bad, opposing head coaches, they're calling out the officiating themselves. Becky Hammon, head coach of the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces. Earlier this week, she admitted that teams are allowed to be too physical with Caitlin Clark. She claimed, there's too much bumping, there's too much grabbing. Normally, that is okay in this league, but I don't think Caitlin likes other women holding her hand. This is pure speculation on my part, but I think there is a reason that Kat Engelbert refuses to address the problem. You gotta remember, this is a problem that dates back to last year. This is not new. Caitlin Clark fans have been complaining about the lack of officiating for over a year now. But there's a reason I think that Kat Engelbert is ignoring it. Now, she will claim the WNBA is a physical league. We encourage our players to get physical. Physicality is fine, but there is a huge difference between physicality and fouling. Before the playoffs, Adam Silver increased the physicality in the NBA. It's a good decision, made for a better product. But that didn't mean that you could tackle Jalen Brunson. That didn't mean you could poke Tyrese Halliburton in the eye. I think the reason Kat Engelbert refuses to address this problem, she's afraid of the backlash. She's afraid of the backlash from unknown WNBA players, and she's afraid of the backlash from the mainstream media. If Kat changes the rules, if she makes it easier for Caitlin Clark to flourish, the accusations will be relentless. This is racism! The white girl is receiving preferential treatment! I told you white privilege was real! Of course, it has absolutely nothing to do with white privilege and everything to do with protecting your asset. You only have one asset in this league. You have one player generating interest, one player generating revenue. Remember what happened when Caitlin Clark was out for 3 weeks? No one was talking about pretend basketball. The entire league disappeared from the mainstream. If you're Kat Engelbert, you have got to deal with the potential backlash. I mean, seriously, who cares if WNBA players are angry? Most of these players are fortunate to be making money while pretending to play basketball. Who cares if they get mad and quit? You can go find another Maria Mabry. You can find another Shelby Shucklefuck. There's an Angel Reese at every college program in the country. There are plenty of players who can miss layups. You've got one Caitlin Clark. And it's not like you can replace her in 5 years. This damn dump has been around since the 90s. They've never had a single star. This is not the NBA where generational talents appear every 10 years or so. If you don't protect Caitlin Clark, the WNBA might not exist in 10 years. You better get your shit together. Increased physicality leads to increased injuries, and we have already seen what happens to the dump when Caitlin Clark is not playing. But give me your thoughts on this. Caitlin Clark fans blame the lack of officiating for her struggles. Do you agree? Do you think the lack of fouls are contributing to her struggles? Should the WNBA implement rules to protect Caitlin Clark? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.